wish they all did.
So, how about some more things, do's and don't do's testimony? Testimony that really cracks, really works, really actually gets them to vote the right way.
I think one point is balancing, like you said, about conspiring with the people beforehand.
Yeah.
Different aspects, different ways of delivery is important too.
Yeah.
Like I noticed Mark's testimony was a little bit more blunt, and I tried to keep mine when I wrote it like a little bit more relaxed, like pointing out potential problems as opposed to saying, this will be a problem. You don't understand what you're doing. I wanted it to be like, oh, I see a point here that, something could happen. It's different ways of presenting it that I feel like really speak to people because it isn't like,
well,
they won't see every
it also
person
depends on who you are. You being young to tell the legislature that they don't know what they're doing,
yeah,
would be very ill received. Mark being older, carrying himself as somebody with authority, if he can really point out something legitimate that is a real problem, it's not a problem for him to be that blunt. And especially if he can line out in black and white, then it's going to be very well listened to. I would say don't bore them, don't repeat other people, be as clear, concise, don't ramble. Rambling is terrible.
Am I old enough to be blunt?
You're old enough to be blunt.
Yeah, we'll be back to representatives and rambling.
Ouch.
Present company excluded.
Well, it's different. Remember that when you're in a hearing, you're taking up a limited. There's been time allotted, and you're also really trying to hold people's attention. And so don't confuse, as Dennis said, I speak well extemporaneously. Don't confuse speaking extemporaneously with you're going in to testify and you don't have yourself organized. And there's a huge difference. I mean, we had a discussion on the floor last week about it was HB 847, the speed limit on the lake. And the fellow who sits next to me almost never goes to the floor. I think it's the second time to the floor. And this is his first term. And he went down with a really good amendment. I mean, the thing was going to pass anyway. He went down with a really good amendment, which was a nighttime speed limit, but no daytime speed limit. And he had a nice little cliche. It's different, the difference is clear as night and day. And he was really good. He could have delivered that thing in a minute and a half. Might have gotten it passed. He talked for probably 10 minutes.
Brutal.
That's why there shouldn't be weapons in the State House.
Right. As we're getting to the end, I'm standing at the back of the room kind of going, where nobody can see me. Please stop, Bill, you're killing yourself. And early on, I had been going to ask a question of him. And as we're getting partway through, I'm trying to catch the eye of the clerk and say, no question. Unfortunately, she didn't catch it, and I was then I was called forth to ask my question, and unfortunately he took it. I don't remember what it was, but at that point I really didn't want to drag it out any longer. But that's rambling. And that's really the difference between organizing something really concise, and if you can open the doors, or if you can anticipate questions, but so that the time being taken is not in your control but in their control, then they can't fault you for taking up half an hour.
Sure.
Because they're the ones that are in control of how long they continue to ask questions. As opposed to you blathering for 15 minutes.